Hey everybody, this is DJ the Money Coach coming back to you. It's an amazing summer. We are actually enjoying the pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. And we want you to be a first-rate copy of yourself and not a second-rate copy of somebody else. And the only way to do that is in order to become financially independent, consumer debt-free, and have a credit score above 720. And when you do that, your next step is to acquire businesses, real estate, and leverage the tax laws. We're actually going to show you that this July 13th at 7 p.m. And we're bringing to you the #1 mobile home investor on the planet, in my opinion, Byron Sellers, the founder of Mobile Home Elite Investors. So if you want to plug into the passive income and control your destiny and not have anybody to work for the rest of your life, you need to plug into this webinar on July 13th at 7 p.m. sharp. Hit the registration link below and sign up now. It's only for a limited time and a limited amount of seats. So hit that link right below and come join us on the Beaches of the World Club.
Toledo Organic Tequila is so crisp, so incredibly smooth, it's simply in a category by itself. This is luxury. Life tastes better naturally, so should your tequila. This is Toledo. Enjoy responsibly. Visit ToledoTequila.com to get your bottle of Toledo Organic Tequila. Get a 10% discount on DJ the Money Coach by entering promo code MONEY at checkout. Again, that's ToledoTequila.com, promo code MONEY to get 10% off your Toledo purchase. Now, let's start the show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the DJ the Money Coach Financial Expert Series, brought to you by the 7 Spheres of Money. Thank you for joining us. And before we get started, make sure you like the video, share it, and subscribe to our channel, the 7 Spheres of Money. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. You know, we got an interview that I'm really excited about because, you know, this is how I got introduced to DJ the Money Coach here. You know, so I'm really excited about this interview right here. But I'll let DJ go ahead and introduce this young brother.
Oh yeah, so how's everybody doing out there, guys and girls, mom and dads? You know, this is a special financial expert series with DJ the Money Coach. And actually, all honesty, we probably wouldn't even be on this social media platform if it wasn't for this gentleman right here. I mean, we've been in the business because we've been doing it for 2 decades, but we probably wouldn't be doing these shows because I never had any desire to do this stuff until, you know, we actually met this gentleman here who actually kicked it off and actually welcomed us to their platform. So, you know, every interview is special, but this one is the most special one because this is the alpha, you know, to the omega of our, you know, beginnings on this social media platform. So I want to be able to introduce you. If you don't know me, which you should know by now, you know, I'm DJ the Money Coach. My story is just like yours. You know, I went to school, get that little, you know, piece of paper, and that piece of paper was supposed to guarantee me a lifestyle of the American dream, which it didn't. You know, went to school to become a CPA, actually. Got an undergraduate degree, a minor in accounting, and looked up and went to go buy my first house. And ladies and gentlemen, I found out that I had $60,000 worth of debt. That's right, 60 with a K, with, you know, 4 zeros and a 6. Was it 5 zeros? One of those. But yeah, 4 zeros and a 6. And 40,000 of that was consumable debt. What do I mean? Credit card debt, pure credit card debt. 20,000 was student loans. I got rejected. I had a professional job. I was making probably about the same amount of money, if not more. And I was probably about the age of this young gentleman here when he first got into his business online. So, you know, I got a little discouraged, but at that point, I kept, you know, moseying along. And like this gentleman, I started my own business. And then I went to go, you know, get a business loan. And from the same bank, I got rejected again. At that point, I was like, whoa, hold up. What's going on here? $60,000 worth of debt. I had a 525 credit score. That's right, 525. So I had 2, you know, pathways I could have gone on. Typically in our community, don't begrudge us, we usually take that victim role because we want the government to give us a handout. I decided to take the victorious role. And I read a book called The Road to Wealth. Taught me about personal credit, personal finance. 12 months from there, my credit score rose to 720. 24 months from there, my credit score rose to 800. And that was like 16, 17 years ago. My credit score has not been under 800 since. Matter of fact, today I was opening up my FICO score and it went down to 820, 817. Unfortunately, 817. That's bad. But here's the deal. I did not file bankruptcy. I actually took responsibility, accountability, work, and discipline, and I paid off all my debt. In 2002, in June, I became consumer debt free. 6 years later, in 2008, I achieved a $250,000 income. That's right, personally. And I had a 7-figure net worth. And I derived that through building businesses, investing in real estate, startup ventures. But most importantly, that's not what we're excited about, is that I actually created a program called Family Finance 101. And I went into my community and I started teaching financial education, teach people how to become consumer debt free, teach them how to increase their credit scores, teach them how to fund their Roth IRAs, emergency funds, and then start businesses. And we've done that to the tune of over 25,000 people since. And upon that journey, I actually stumbled into this gentleman here who's doing great things online. And I said, you know what? Here's a guy that gets it. And most importantly, here's a guy who his dad gets it as well, because his dad, raised him up right. His dad was a real solid Black man that's raising the Black family nucleus the way it's supposed to be built, unlike this garbage we see on the internet. And we basically reached out to this gentleman and said, hey, you know what? You got an amazing platform. We'd love to come on your platform and chop it up a little bit. And we started to patronize the platform. We, invested in some products and stuff like that on the platform. And a friendship began to develop. And from there, we were just blessed that the gentleman actually invested the opportunity to, invite us onto the show. And we actually end up doing several shows with this gentleman as his organization began to grow. And they now have the largest father and son podcast, if I'm not mistaken, on all mediums, which is amazing in of itself. And this gentleman, went to school, got his college degree, actually was trying to become a football player and was going to go pro. And I guess he got derailed from that. I don't know why, but we're going to hear about that story. And this gentleman is young. This gentleman is under 30 years of age. He probably, if I'm not mistaken, he probably ain't even 28 yet, if I'm not mistaken. I think this gentleman is like 26 or 27, if I'm not mistaken, or coming up on 27. So we end up, creating, good solid friendship, got to know each other, and things grew from there. And end result is we've done a lot of business, which we call cooperative economics, which is one of the most important things to practice in our community. So without further ado, this gentleman is also a journalist. He's not a person who speaks on, mediums. He actually has a journalism background, so that means he knows how to do the research. He knows how to, get the information and get it correct. That's a lost science in today's world, especially on these social mediums. So I want to introduce this gentleman. I call him a friend, and he's a friend to our family. And without further ado, I want to introduce you, gentlemen, to the Malcom Bowser, and the owner and founder of Urban X, the largest, fastest growing father and son podcast on YouTube and all social mediums. My brother Malcom, how you doing today? And welcome to the show. And thank you for giving us the entry into the social media world that we're in today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I didn't realize that I played a big part in you guys, starting out online, like starting out in the social media space. I'm actually very honored. Thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was on social media corporate wise, but I never got on and did any stuff like this. I dabbled a little bit, did a couple of webinars just to make money, but I didn't get on to be speaking like we do today. So that was the, opportunity that I saw that, you know what, there's a lot of information out here, and from the perspective of you guys and serving our community. So that was one of the main reasons why we said, you know what, we need to get after this and be a financial stalwart in our community. So so Malcom, man, hey man, let's what we normally do is find out, who you were, when you were coming up. Tell us a little bit of your backstory, starting out maybe like when you were 10, 11, 12 years of age, when you were starting, to figure out a little bit about who you were and what you had dreams and aspirations about. So if you can top us in there, and then you can probably tell a little bit better story how we actually met.
Okay, so my name is Malcom Bowser. I'm from the Bronx. I'm 28 years old now. Oh, I'm 27. I'll be 28 in September. And like I said, I'm from the Bronx. I grew up in a big family. My parents separated when I was about 2. And both of my parents got remarried, and both of my parents had their own families and their own, but I still had equal amount of time with both of them. So I was able to just get the best of both worlds. My mother was a little bit more strict than my dad was. And then when my dad was strict, my mother was, you know, a little less. So it was like the perfect balance. And like I said, I had a really big family. So my pops, well, my mother was a school teacher growing up. And my pops, he was a bus driver for the city bus, New York City bus. And then he will always dabble into business, entrepreneurial like efforts. And before, like that was even really a thought of mine, like working for yourself. It wasn't really a thing to me. But he was always big into writing. Both of my parents big into writing and reading. That's why I'm always, you see the books behind me. I've always been a reader, and my writing has always been. I always had a really good pen as well. You know what I mean? So growing up, I played, you know, sports. Football was my main sport of choice. I went to a Catholic school, the same school that actually P. Diddy graduated from in high school, as a matter of fact, Mount St. Michael Academy. And I played football all 4 years there. I was all city. And then I went to college and I played a little bit my freshman year, but then I tore my shoulder. And even though I did not have real aspirations of going to the NFL, once I got to college, because anybody who's watching, you've been to the recruiting circuit, you understand how competitive it is, especially for football, like how just, and then you realize you have to like be honest with yourself and measure yourself up to people from different states. And, you know, once that happened, I really just had to get real with myself and say, okay, I'm probably not going to play football, but I want to be around sports. So at my first college, I majored in athletic training. You know, the people that are on the field, that when the player gets hurt, they, you know, they rush to help them out, tape their knees up, things like that. So I thought I wanted to get my degree in that. I thought that's what I wanted to be. Then after my first semester, even though I had great, like my grades were fine, I just thought like this is not what I want to do. So I re-looked into different majors and things like that. So then I stumbled upon history like as a major, and that's always been like a really strong suit. I love just learning about historical facts. I love writing about it. And I said, okay, I can do this. And then I started looking into careers as well. So my first goal, I wanted to be a museum curator for a big museum. And then I learned that, you know, I got my degree and I went all through college. I actually transferred schools. I went all through college, and then I thought that's what I wanted to be. And then you do more research into, you know, what happens after you get that degree and how hard it is for you to even apply the degree. And especially for somebody for history, that's one of those, like, as a museum curator, like those jobs are there for life. You know what I mean? People don't just retire out of those jobs. They probably like die out of those jobs. So the chance of you getting a position like that is like very, very like slim. So my senior year in college, I worked at a mall. I worked at Bloomingdale's in Long Island. And you know, people will come in, and it's in a really wealthy part of Long Island. So people will come in with black cars, spending $16,000 just in the afternoon, just like it was nothing. And I would like spark conversations with the customers, like, you know, like, what do you do? And everybody's answer was, it wasn't like I work for this company. It was always, I created this app. I started this company. So then my wheels started to kind of turn about just the possibility of entrepreneurship. Now, as I mentioned, my dad, he will always have these ventures. So about in 2005, I had to be like in 6th grade. He wrote a book, and he started a publishing company to launch that book. And throughout my years, he would always get on me, my brothers, my sister about one day running the company, one day taking this over, you know, I'm doing this, guys, for you, and things like that. And we were always just kind of like, okay, whatever, man. And then once I had that moment while I was at work, I called him. I think I texted him. I said, yo, like, because he was actually working on his second book. So I texted him. I said, I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know how you guys are doing, but I just want to learn, because I think this is what I want. I want to do something around this. And he texted me back, and he's like, I've been waiting for 15 years for you to say something like that. I was like, all right, cool. So, and also around this time, I was doing, I did a few internships with local newspaper publications around Long Island. The major one I did was called New York Trend, and I will go to like, you know, Broadway plays, interview the actors, you know, and I was able to be the guest editor for the entire paper one week. So that's when I got the itch to kind of like write more, to blog more, and things like that. So I wanted to be an author because my dad was an author. Like I said, I was a big reader, and I thought it would be cool. So I said to get me, you know, up to that, I'm gonna start a blog. And my dad said like he would help me with the blog, like he would write some pieces. I had a few friends say they would write some pieces as well. So I started the blog in 2017, I would say. Yes, 2017, we started the blog. Then the topics I was writing about in the blog, me and my pops would have like these really long conversations, great conversations, like just off camera about some of these things and about whatever was happening in the world. We'd have these great conversations. So then I said, like, let's record it, because he already had a YouTube presence, you know, with the conscious community and things like that. So he already had a presence. I said, let's do that here. And he was like, all right, cool. And we started that channel. We started our YouTube channel, I think, May of 2017, like the next month after we actually started like the written blog. And the way the format worked, like all of our videos would be him in front of the camera, me behind the camera, and I would ask him questions, and it would be a conversational style, you know, interview. And we did that for a while. And then the plan was to start a podcast. Now, I was never really comfortable on camera and actually being in front of the camera. So that's why I think it took so long for us to start the podcast. We didn't start the podcast until 2018, like a year later. So we had to try to build up an audience. We had to try to build up even a small following. So when we started the podcast, it wasn't like starting from scratch. So we started the podcast in, I think, April of 2018, and we've been growing ever since. At first, when we started the podcast, I wanted to be a regular podcast. Like we film it, we put it up on YouTube. But my dad, he's very like, you know, he tries to be a visionary, like he tries to think an extra step ahead. So he called me one day, and I had a corporate job. I was working at the Department of Education, New York City, in the chancellor's office. I used to have to ghostwrite some of her letters. And when people complain about their school, I would like be the one emailing them back, figuring out the problem, things like that. So he called me while I was at work, and he goes, I was thinking like we should live stream our podcast. And I was just like, with podcasts, you don't live stream a podcast. That's not how it works. He goes, I think it'd be an extra something like different. You know what I mean? I was just like, I don't know, because again, I'm not comfortable being on camera. So now you ask me to be on camera and live, like all of my mistakes are live. And I wasn't sure about that. I've been a very reserved person like all my life. So I kind of got over that. And then we started the live podcast. And then what it did for us, and I think specifically for us, we were able to cultivate our audience in a way that a lot of other platforms don't do. Like you said, they saw our mistakes. We were being very transparent, whatever was going on. If we were late because some technical problems, we told the audience this is what's happening, and we let the audience in to what we were doing. And I feel like we've built a very loyal core following. And for anybody who wants to start a podcast and things like that, I think that's probably like the number one thing you should be trying to do. Like try to get an audience, try to cultivate that audience. So whatever it is that you're trying to sell, like those people, like whatever you're trying to do, whatever message you're trying to get across, those people will be there, and it will be probably more receptive than if you're just trying to just talk about what's happening for that moment. You know what I mean? You'll probably get an influx of views, an influx of listeners, but those people aren't really your core following. And so in 2020, I wrote my first book. I put out my first book, Urban Xcellence, Unveiling Extraordinary Stories by Everyday People, in which I interviewed 11 people that I came across either in college or high school, had a great relationship with, and saw that they were doing something amazing in their community. And we had a segment, we have a segment on the show where we have an Urban Excellence story of the week, where we highlight somebody who's doing something great, no matter how big or how small, because we want the message to be sent that everybody's story is different and everybody's journey to what they deem success is different. So I interviewed these 11 people, and they're different stories. Somebody's a teacher, somebody's a business owner, somebody's disabled, and I wanted to get their stories and convey that message of, you know, what Urban Excellence means to our platform. So that was a very big moment for me. We actually had a really big book signing in Harlem, and it was amazing. We sold merch. Me and my dad did like an impromptu live show, and that was like very big. And right now we're in just the process of continuing to grow our platform and continuing to try to be as independent as we possibly can. I'm saying that on YouTube, and we use YouTube, but we're trying to, like I said, continue to cultivate our audience, so where one day, if we're not on YouTube, you know, forbid, that they'll follow us to wherever we're at. So that's my story.
We'll be right back with the DJTMC Financial Expert Series after this message. Stay tuned.
Hi, so this is a testimonial for DJ the Money Coach. First of all, I got one of the best packages that you had, so that was A1. I love the team. They have really come through. You were amazing as a coach. Every week you showed up on time. Every single week. And trust me, I've been in a lot of courses, a lot of classes, spent a lot of money. And unfortunately, some people don't do what they say that they're going to do as a coach.
Hello everybody, my name is Terry. I recently just linked up with DJ the Money Coach, and he's been very helpful, gave me a lot of information, told me how I could turn my personal credit into business credit, also showed me how I can pay for a personal vehicle through my business and corporation setup, and also set me up with Melvin to help me actually put together a will, a power of attorney, a Roth IRA.
I definitely would highly recommend DJ the Money Coach. He's very personable. He's actually real. He actually does meet with his clients. You know, I'm happy for that. And he actually has a team that he works with that, you know, that are actually real. They do call people, so they will call you. So that's kind of why I want to rock with DJ the Money Coach.
Yeah, that's I remember when you did all that stuff, and I didn't know you guys had just begun. So really, that was at the beginning of the introduction that we met. I thought your show had been on for a while.
No,
on you guys. And it's
like the channel itself was there, like I said, since 2017, and the podcast, because like the goal was always to start a podcast. Like once me and my dad started the channel, but we wanted to just gain some traction first, and that was the way to, and it ended up working really well.
Yeah, because I actually had found out about your show from what's the gentleman that produces Kambata? What's the gentleman's name?
Black Magic, my brother Rich.
Yeah, brother Rich. Yep. I think your dad was on his show and was talking about what you guys were starting, and from there, I found out about you guys. I was just scheming through and following that. But yeah, brother Rich. That's right. Black Magic 363, I think it's called.
Yep. And
your dad was on that show. So man, that's amazing in itself that you guys have come 180 degrees, and you've now created a very successful ecosystem.
Yes.
As far as business. So what we strive to do on this show is bring people who are experts, running their own businesses, successful, giving examples in the community that look like us. And I think you guys do that better than anybody on the platform. Just like you said, from the standpoint of just cultivating and nurturing your community, and actually they become a tribe of loyal followers.
Right.
Which was not selling stuff. So what would you say is the secret to the stickiness of what you guys have developed? Because you've done a lot of things. I mean, we got your gear, you guys are manufacturers. You actually manufactured our DJ the Money Coach, CAPS, like I said,
Yes.
cooperative economics, which a lot of people don't practice in our community today, and they didn't do it in the past. So how did you guys figure out that formula for success that made it unique for you guys to actually be number one in the market that you're in?
So first, what I would say is when we first started out, there was no plan. There was no formula we were following. We were just kind of just going off of what we felt we would be comfortable with. You know what I mean? So we understand that there's a bunch of different channels on there and a bunch of different successful ones. They're probably, you know, talking about gossip or, you know, something toxic in the community, or they're arguing with other platforms, they're cursing people out and things like that. And we knew first starting out, we were not going to be that channel. So that was one thing, right? That was one thing we stood firm and we're not going to be that channel. But like I said, there was a lot of trial and error. Definitely a lot of trial and error. We tried some things out, it didn't work, or we thought this would be like the one that would probably gain a lot of attention. That didn't work. So we kind of, it took a lot of time, a lot of trial and error. And I would tell people that too, like, don't get married to your first idea. You probably have to tweak and pivot along the way. You definitely have to tweak and pivot along the way. I would say to be transparent. Like I said, like we've been open books as much as we can without like letting people actually in our homes. But we've been open books. Like when we have mistakes, you see them. When we don't agree on something, you see it. When like we said, we sell merch. If we mess up on somebody's order, listen, keep it. We'll send you something up because that's our mistake, and we want to gain your trust, so you come back and you tell your friend that your service when you did do business with us was exemplary. You know what I mean? I would say just being true to who you are and what your values are will go a long way. It'll be a slower way, but I think it'll go a long way as well. And that just goes to, like I said, like our content is probably not the most salacious, but we stick to what we know and we stick to what we do. And we might not be gaining the followers or subscribers at the pace some people feel like some people are and talking about other things, and we're okay with that. Like I said, we do our shows live, so we usually have the same people, the same 1,200 people in our chat every show, and we've gained, you know, like more along the way. But when there's an influx of new people in the chat and they just don't know me, or they don't know my pop style and our satire or our sense of humor, you can tell it's a different energy in the chat. So that's when we came to the conclusion that maybe the pace that we're growing up is just the right pace for us. Because maybe if we did grow to, you know, a couple 100,000 subscribers overnight, that the energy and what we do would kind of be off anyway. So we kind of got not comfortable in our size, but we see the blessing in it, the blessing in disguise.
Now, you know, it's funny you say that, because that's the mode operation on the platform is, man, you know, get 1 million followers as fast as you can, do whatever you can do to get that without no substance.
Right.
And I don't see any value in that. It's funny. It's hilarious that now, I don't know, I think it's the year 2021, everybody's talking about this high value BS versus character.
Yeah.
And I notice how a lot of these shows just to build, oh man, we're high value men, we high value women, and it's just hilarious to me. So for the people who don't know, what is Urban X about? What is the premise of the platform? What do y'all talk about? If I were to turn on your show, what would I expect to get from Urban X? Because I don't think we actually touched on that, on what Urban X actually is. So can you share with us what Urban X is and when that show comes on and what we can expect? Because you said, yeah, y'all do a lot of satire. Your dad's a very humorous person naturally, and then y'all actually spun off some shows just making parody of that, which I think is probably one of y'all best segments that y'all do. Is hilarious, man. But yeah, can you tell us what Urban X is for the people?
So when I started, when I came up with the idea to start blogging, I wanted to write about stories that are seldomly spoken about within our communities, and that branched off into a bunch of different ideas, right? I wanted to tell, I wanted to tell my story. Then I said, no, Michael, who am I, right? So I want to tell everybody's story, but I want everybody else to be able to tell their stories too. So brainstorming about names, we came up with a bunch of different names. And my dad had just he had just put out his book, Urban Culture Decoded. So I wanted it to be around something about urban culture, but I obviously didn't want to take the whole name. So we thought about the name like Urban Experience, right? The Urban Experience, right? And I was just trying to think, like typing that in a URL is kind of long, right? So I was like, maybe that's too much, right? And then I said, we thought about like, I actually don't know who exactly came up with the name. It was me or my dad. We said Urban X, right? And the X, we leaving the X alone because it could be anything. Excellence, it could be experience, it could be anything. And going back to like, my name is Malcom X Bowser, Malcolm Xavier Bowser, but my namesake Malcolm X changed his name from Malcolm Little to X to represent the fact that his true last name was unknown. So we said everybody's experience within this urban jungle is unknown. You know what I mean? Everybody has a different experience. Me and my brother were raised in the same home, but his experience was different from mine. You know what I mean? My mother's experience was different from her sisters or mine. So we that's what the gist of what the blog started out to be, and the podcast and the channel itself was just an extension of that. We want to talk about different stories that are happening that affect our community directly, some indirectly, and how we try to use our unique perspective to try to turn it back into how can this affect us, our community. You know what I mean? It can be something regarding somebody from a different country, but we try to use our, our research and things like that to tie everything back to how it affects us. You know what I mean? And that was the premise, and that still is the premise of what Urban X is about. We kind of clung on to the Urban Excellence name as well, because we like I said, that message of achieving what success is to you, it's very dear to us. So we use the Urban Excellence as like our main logo at this point now, and that's why I actually named my book that. It was kind of, I actually didn't name the book before I started writing it. I just started writing it, and my dad would hit me like every week, like, did you come up with a title yet? Did you come up with a title yet? And I was like, nah, man, I gotta think about it. And then one day it just kind of was like staring at me in the face. I was just like, oh, that we do this anyway. This is what the book is about, Urban Excellence. And that was a no-brainer. So the podcast is about dispelling misconceptions with that are prevalent within our community, about father and son relationship. There are about exposing these amazing stories within our community. The show is about family, it's about fun, and it's about, and we try to compact all of that into an hour and a half to 2 hours every Monday and Thursday now.
I mean, you know what, the funny thing and what I liked about is that you guys always highlighted a story about urban excellence, be it a 7-year-old or a 70-year-old, and that is absent with the depiction from, corporate America and the media world about our people in general. If it ain't negative and salacious, they ain't selling it. And you guys are going completely the opposite.
And we were bothered one day because I think Jay-Z had one of his brunches, and it was a picture of, Jay-Z, Diddy, like just.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like, the caption was like, this is Black excellence. I was just like, why is, so to be a rapper, to be a good rapper, that's Black excellence? Or not even to downplay what rappers do, but that's not the only image of what excellence should be for our community. We have, and we are so much more. So we were like really big on that. And I never forget it. My dad, he sat me and my stepmother down, because that's who the team is. And we actually just brought up my little sister, and he brought us in. He goes, I think we have to really double down and zero in on the urban excellence idea and concept because of these reasons. And I think it's like people really took to it and understood it. And now we allow our audience to join in too. If you have a story that you want to tell, let us know. Email us, and we'll get your story told. If your daughter or you were somebody who you let us know, you emailed us about your son, sent us a picture, and he was one of the earliest Urban Xcellence stories, actually. You know what I mean? And now he's going on to do great things. Not that we had anything to do with it, but it just shows that we should be highlighting our selves at any stage in our career, at any stage on where we're at. You know what I mean? Because it does matter.
Yeah, we need to be doing that all the time, and we need to put a stop to that idiocy of these other platforms that all they do again is sell the bad things, which is actually the minority in our community. Is not the majority.
Right.
I mean, that's the reality of it. But you wouldn't know that if you came from space and turned on something about Black culture. You would automatically think that, man, we are the miscreants and the deviants of society, which is absolutely the opposite. So that's a great point. And then how did you start to get into the business side of your platform? Because here's the thing today that always amazes me, and actually I just find it shamefully hilarious, that a lot of these cats get out here, they build a platform, they get 200, 300, 500,000 followers, and they have no business concept or any business acumen at all, but they're making money. They'll get out and make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 and don't know a damn thing about business. So what was the wisdom and the jumping off point that made you decide, I got to become a businessman? And I think that's where we really started to hit it off at.
So like I said, I was working, I had a 9-to-5 job. That was like my first big boy job, I guess. I was right out of college. And it was a 9-to-5 job, and I was making good money, but I couldn't stand the work. You know what I mean? Actually waking up, going to work, and doing something that I didn't really like doing. So once we started the YouTube channel, I never forget it. The first, the biggest check I got from YouTube at that point was like $300, right? And that was the first money I had made online. And it kind of just blew my mind a little bit, because I was just like, wait, we just got paid because of our ideas and what we said, and we just kind of put the video up online, right? And that kind of spun into a bunch of other things. So once we started getting a bigger following online, and mind you, we didn't start selling stuff to people until I think the following a whole year. And I had quit my job at the beginning of 2018, and we still weren't selling anything to people, because we were still trying to gain trust, and we were still trying to figure out where our lane actually is. So we didn't just want to come out selling things. And to be honest, there's a lot of people within our community who are jaded by doing business with Black people because they feel like they've gotten robbed, or they feel like they don't get the quality. So we take our reputation extremely, extremely seriously for that fact. You know what I mean? We don't want to be another one of those platforms that robs you or gyps you, or the scammer title is thrown on you. So we took a long time, but I think, like I said, once I had that conversation with my dad about wanting to know how to run a business, that's when my true education really started. Mind you, I'm already damn near about to graduate with my degree, and I still say that's where my true education started. I started reading books and things like that, and I started to just see. And this is what I feel now. I couldn't really put it into words before, but I can say it now. The way I think entrepreneurship is pushed to our community and how it's pushed to other communities is we become, it's pushed more as a hobby to us. So when they say, oh, just start a business, we just see it as, okay, let me just make something, sell it, make a few quick bucks, and I'm an entrepreneur.
They kill me with, man, I got my hustle, my side gig.
Right.
So when that business, this ain't no hustle.
Right. So when that happens, say you want to do more and you don't have an infrastructure to take more orders than you can actually make, or you get hit for a tax bill, you know what I mean? Your paperwork is not right. So I was always, always trying to be cognizant of that. Didn't know how to do any of that stuff, but I was cognizant of that. Now, fast forward to when you reached out to me. You reached out to me a few times, actually. And I think, I don't know why, I just kind of was just, I would see the email, like want to get back to you, and then it just wouldn't happen, right? And then you hit me back like one last time. I was actually driving home, and I got the email, and you were like, listen, I don't care if you don't respond, just do these things for your business, and I think you'll be in great shape. And I saw that, and I was like, you know what? I got to give this guy a call, right? And I think I called you on the spot. And we spoke, and then that led to more conversations about just getting your business in order. And you gave me a list of books to read. I got Blue Ocean Strategy right here. Like you gave me a list of books to read. I have some of them that I've read, like E-Myth, and I had to apply that to my business because that talks about having set roles in your business, like set like for your team and how everybody's supposed to do their job and things like that. And I work with my family, and a lot of people who work with family, they understand it can be complex because the personal relationship and the business relationship, it bleeds a lot. And that's my dad. That's not just my podcast host or my co. That's my father. You know what I mean? And these conversations that you see us have on the podcast, those are just regular conversations we have in private. Now you're just in them, like you're watching them happen. You know what I mean? So I think once I got with you, or once I started to just get more experience as well, because like I said, we've made a bunch of mistakes, and I'm happy we did. You know what I mean? But once I think everything just kind of happens for a reason. Like we just started to understand how we wanted to run a business and how we wanted to structure it, and how we actually wanted it to be something, not just a side hustle, like you said.
Yeah, I mean that's so important. I mean, because you even have created subscription-based service that I believe is very successful for your organization now, and you didn't rush to do it like most people do. And I think that's going to give you sustainability. Well, I know it's going to give you sustainability, and it's actually going to create multi-generational wealth for your family and your son and your son's son, which most people don't do.
We'll be right back with the DJTMC Financial Expert Series after this message. Stay tuned.
I created STEAM, STEAM. It's science, technology, engineering, access, and mentorship. And people might say, well, what happened to the math? Well, to me, it's self-explanatory. If you're going to be an engineer, you got to be good at math in some capacity. How does that translate when you go in these boardrooms with these Fortune 500 companies who just want to take money out of our community? How do you get them to, humanize our experiences and actually give us the value without us having to be validated through their lens? People don't understand when you start out in business, you got to pay your team first before you pay yourself. I'm going to say this. You got to pay your team first before you pay yourself, because you're invested in a system. I'm excited about meeting you guys because I think you're stumbling on something that's going to actually dissolve that system and actually make you as the number one player in the industry. Can you talk to that a little bit?
You know what I can say? I can say that I have chills, right now at 4:19 Central Time, Thursday, March 4th, 2021 in Austin, Texas, hearing you say that. And I actually want to refer back to this clip whenever it is that we, do achieve some milestone like $100 million of gross written premium.
The DJTMC Financial Expert Series is the #1 show featuring the hottest business professionals, working professionals, and entrepreneurs, from the seasoned vets to the rising stars. Email Nick at djthemoneycoach.com if you have what it takes to stand among the greats. Now back to the program.
Talk to the point about how important the systems are inside of your business, like you referenced E-Myth, which we shared with you about, in Blue Ocean. How does that make you better than these other cats that may have 10 times more subscribers, but you got a business that's sticky? Because every February you guys do a special and merchandise, and it seems to double every year. So talk a little bit about how the systems that you learned about from a perspective of us getting to know each other, and how that enables you not to be chasing 1 million subscribers and just cultivating that stickiness, which will give you repetitive business with your community.
Right. So the first time, we were trying to come up with something that we can provide for our audience, right? So we dabbled with the idea of merchandise. So we got shirts made, we got them back, and we had to calculate, how much everything wants to get it made, how should we sell everything, and we had to do so much math, so many numbers, and all these, just listing everything. And my dad, he said, I think we should invest in our own machines and print our own stuff.
That was huge.
I thought at first, I was just like, listen, I don't want to work that hard. Let's just, farm it out, and we'll be straight like that. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to, do all the work. We can just steer people to a website. Whoever makes the stuff can send it out to people. So we did that at first. And the thing was, but we did it at first, and we will order some of our stuff to just see the quality, see the packaging and things like that. And it would be a black bag, the shirt just thrown in, mailed in front of your house. And we had a problem with that. And my stepmother, she's like, oh no, like, I would not put my name on this and send it out to people. Like, everything should be handled with care, and everything should be given the proper attention it deserves. So we invested in our own machines, and we got the stuff, and we just kind of had to learn on the fly. Like, we took a few months to learn it, but then February, so we got everything in November, right? If I'm not mistaken, we got everything in November. So November, December, we're kind of like, we were kind of going to come on the show with a different shirt, and people will comment on it. We wouldn't say anything about it. And then January came, I'm working on the website because, I built the blog myself. So I'm working on the website to make sure it takes payments, to make sure all of our merchandise and things are up like that. And then February came, we decided to do a 28 for 28. Everything on the site will be $28 for the 28 days of Black History Month. And the designs will be, Afrocentric and things like that. So I don't think we anticipated the reception to be what it was, but it was huge, right? And like I said, we just started really learning how to do to do these things. So we got an influx of orders, and to make one shirt, like, our process was like 5 minutes to make one shirt. And we had a lot of orders to get out. So it was literally all hands on deck. We were super frustrated, stressed, arguing with each other, but it was a great learning experience. Like, we got thrown into the fire and we survived. And a lot of people they loved their merchandise, and they loved what they had, things like that. So, but what that told us is we have to learn, either we have to, like, hire some people and, to cut this process down, or learn better ways to do this. So we chose the latter because we didn't feel like we were, like, at the place where we can, pay somebody comfortably and, have them feel like their time is not being wasted. So we learned different ways. So now a shirt that used to take us 5 minutes to make, it takes us now like 10 seconds.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
you invested the time to build the pipeline, which is what Robert Kiyosaki talks about, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And another thing is, here's the great thing about it. You own everything that you create.
That as well, yes.
People don't understand it. So a lot of people will be, oh man, cost me this, cost me that. But you ain't looking in the future when you build this amazing brand, and now you just siphoned it off, to everybody shortcutting the shortcut, and now you own nothing.
Right.
But you guys have total control, total autonomy. And that was one of the things that I was trying to import with you guys. I was like, Malcolm, you got to own everything you put your hands around if this is your baby or your baby, if that makes sense.
Yes. So that was something like that was one of we get on my dad a lot. He makes us really work really hard, but it was one of, like, the best decisions we could have made. And I think what it did as well, I think it subconsciously, it told people, like, our audience, that we're trying to do everything in-house. We are doing everything in-house. So this is a family business, and as much as, like, we need your support as well. You know what I mean? As much as we give information and value to you guys, we hope that you can kind of give it back. So that was one of the things I felt like was really important, because like later on, we tried to, and this is one of our failures, not really though, but we had our own Roku channel where if you have a Roku, if you have Apple
Yeah, I
TV,
remember. You the one that told me about that.
right, we could, we'll live stream like strictly to your TV. We didn't need YouTube, but people are so conditioned to go to YouTube that that channel was basically like collecting dust. So we had to, you know, put a pause in it, and we said we were going to revisit it. But what's happening now, even with our subscription service, that is not on anybody else's platform. That is us. So people are kind of, and they're seeing the importance of why we're trying to steer people to our own platforms, because we have to be able to control our own narrative, everything about our own.
Yeah, because if they flip a switch, you're out of business.
Yes.
Tell the people, when did that crystallize? Because I used to try to beat this in your head. I used to try to, every time I talk to you, I'd be like, Malcolm, own everything, man. No matter how hard it is, make it your own, so you will never have to worry about, you know, Alex Jones or Farrakhan getting, you know, canceled out by the cancel culture. So talk to us about, how did you come about that? Because I know probably a lot of times you probably hated me telling you that, because you probably thought I was crazy or something, but now you're reaping the benefits of owning everything with your name on it. And now I think you had a epiphany that, you know what, we're going to be wealthy doing what we're doing, and we're doing what we love doing, which is the good to great model. So talk to us a little bit about that, where that pushback and then that acceptance. And now you see in hindsight, that was the best decision you ever made, and have the wisdom of being teachable and duplicatable.
Yeah, it comes from experience. Like, I can be as hard-headed as I want, but once like that, you know, it comes down and you really have, oh wait, he was right, we should do that, then the decision's easy and we're malleable. Like, we're not really hard-headed in the fact, like, we have our principles, like I said, like we stand on what we stand on. But once we get a piece of great information, it's just kind of like a no-brainer. Like, all right, man, it makes sense. So the way stuff happens is kind of crazy, because as you're telling me this, my dad, he's seeing, you know, as for a service that can help build that at the same time. And I'm like, oh, yo, DJ said we should do that. And he's right, we should do that. And we found the money, and then it just kind of like met that way. And we worked on secret on that for a while. Then I remember just telling you, like, that's big. You know what I mean? Because you have to own your own. You just have to own your own. You know what I mean? So, like I said, we're gonna revisit that. I think once we do, it'll just be an easier transition for people. I think it was too early, and then I think there's a certain thing as like growing too fast, and I think that was one of the time we were stretching ourselves too thin. We just started the merchandise. We just started, like, you know, making the shirts and things like that. We were still doing one show a week, and then we were trying to do two. Like, we were toying with the idea of doing 2 shows a week. Like, that started last year, but we were just stretched out way too thin. You know, we were still doing a written blog and things like that. So that's an example of us trying to grow too big too fast.
So talk to us about when you guys went on hiatus, and talk to us about that fine line between being son and father relationship and CEO to business partners, because that was something that we talked about, and it was very important that I was like, hey man, I understand, hey, your dad had his situation going on, but I said, Malcolm, at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yeah. So
about your challenge with that and how you overcame it to make it a success, because I think that you found out that you guys were going to hiatus a lot longer, but then you, again, were able to, you know, separate the relationship and then make a CEO decision that I think, man, saved your business, and now it's propelled your business where it is today. Talk about that, because I think people on this platform, and this is the reason we call it Financial Expert Series, they need to know how to build a right social media company, which you are engineering and navigating right now very successfully. Talk about that.
So 2019, show 50, I think it was in March of 2019, show 50, me and my dad, I think personally, we were just burnt out. This was new to us. That was, you know, being on camera every week, you know, doing the show and things like that. And then my pops, if you're familiar with him, the people that were familiar with him, this is the most they had ever seen him on camera, like in a row. He would pop in, pop out. That was his style. You know what I mean? He tried to be like Batman. He would pop in and pop out. So I think we were just, honestly, we were burnt out, and it was March, so we were just coming off of the first 28 for 28.7. Like I said, our system wasn't good. Like we were really spent. It was only 3 of us. My sister would come in, chime in when she could, but it was 3 to 4 of us at a time, and we were burnt out. And
what I'm hearing is that E-Myth was very important.
Yes. Yes. So what happened was my dad called me, and I think we were just kind of on the same path. He was like, I think we should just end the show. He was like, I don't know if it's for good or if I'm kind of the same way. But again, we were burnt out, but we just didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? We thought like we were really just done with the show. So after show 50, we just kind of went on a hiatus, and my dad, this is out now, but he's suffered from kidney failure for the last 15, 16 years. So his energy level isn't,
right. You were in a no-win situation, but at the same time, you were CEO too.
Right. So so he was going through, some health issues, and we decided that the break was kind of just necessary for us. Like we just said, we're just gonna end it. But what was happening is, again, I don't have a job, or this is my full-time job. So ending it was super ballsy because we thinking that, we just had a huge month selling clothes. Maybe this would just be it. Maybe we'll just be able to just.
Right. You made a strong 5 figures that month, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we did.
Most money you had ever made.
Yeah, we did. So, to that point, it was, and so I'm thinking like, okay, this is just gonna obviously, clearly, because, just continue. Wrong, right? So we learned the importance of just content marketing, and just being our podcast being a commercial for our show. For our clothing. That's just, and looking back, it was just a no-brainer. It's like, how the hell did we drop the ball so hard on that one? But sorry about that.
No problem.
But again, like we were talking. You were like, I think you guys should come back. I think you guys are missing a large opportunity to build. And again, just being hard-headed, we were just like, nah, like we're good. And then I forget what happened. Just popping in. My dad's popping in, popping out. We did a video that wound up kind of going viral. We got like 250,000 views, right? I was like, whoa. And we saw just the connection between that.
People were missing y'all.
Right?
I remember that.
People miss us.
They were like, where y'all been? We come accustomed to seeing y'all Thursday night, no matter what the challenges is. This is what we live for our Thursday night. It was like must-see TV. I remember that.
So it went viral. So that happened. Then again, our shirt business kind of just died. Again, people are not seeing us. So like the people who were buying were like just regulars. They were just coming back and buying, but we didn't really have any new customers. YouTube money was super low. It was just, we were kind of just.
And they changed the algorithm. Remember, YouTube changed the algorithm, pretty much cut creators' money in half.
Yes, they did.
And that was pivotal.
And that was 2 years ago. They did it again, by the way.
Wow.
They did it again, by the way. So we decided to come back. And when we came back, we decided to take this more, again, like not as a hobby, but as real jobs.
Yeah,
right?
y'all became businessmen at that point.
Because we had to think about it. Like when Stephen A. Smith, he goes, when he's not feeling well, he doesn't just end first take. No, he goes on. And then we had to figure out the same way, like, listen, we have to take this serious. This is what you do. You answer emails. This is what you do. This is what I do. And then I feel like since we came back, we've been like a well-oiled machine. We've taken breaks, but as an understanding, like, yo, we'll be back in a month. We just have to, this is just.
Right. Y'all got your organizational chart from E-Myth now. Accountability, responsibilities, duties, even though you were wearing multiple hats, but you knew what the CEO had to do. You knew what the administrative person, even if that was both. And you always hilariously talk about, Alejandro, firing Alejandro, which y'all basically referring to yourselves, which I always just loved as a running joke.
Yes.
And I think one of the other great things y'all did, and I remember I said, hey, Malcolm, man, y'all got to start running some advertising, start running some commercial spots, and make that internal mechanism, which is your culture community, support you by seeing commercials on your platform. How did you guys initially respond to that when I was sharing that with you, and then you just took it off and became sweet at it? Talk to us about that, because that's all business systems, and that's a media company, which you guys have mastered today.
So that kind of started when we were doing webinars, and you would film a minute spot, and we would like implant it in the show. So we finally got our live stream technology to where it is, and we learned how to use it to where we can just have video.
We're like in the Stone Ages doing those webinars.
Yes. So you would film like a minute spot, and then we would play your commercial like every like half hour and things like that. And the response, because when we first started the webinars, we would mention it, we would do a video, and then that would kind of be it. Then when we started just becoming like actual running a media company, we started email marketing. We started on social media. We just started kind of piling everything on, and we noticed the response from it. So what happened was one time, I remember you texting me just about like how, cause you say you've worked in the TV background.
Yeah, I had a broadcast journalism degree in television production.
Right. So you told us about like, commercial spots every 30 minutes, things like that, or like how, some TV companies do it. So then again, it was one of those things where just kind of things just meet at the right point. You know what I mean? And I've always compared everything to the Godfather movie, right? When Mike was just starting out, and Don Vito was still alive, and then he goes, listen, he fired Tom for being the consigliere, and he goes, listen, who's a better consigliere than my pops, right? And that's how I've always kind of saw things, right? So what happens is, and this is me, because I was I'm starting out, so I talk to you, DJ, and you're telling me things, and then my dad would do something. He would do something just on his own, and they go, wait, tell me that worked, and the information would just kind of make sense in the middle. So he promoted somebody's, I think, album on his channel, and he goes, yo, we should promote other people. We should promote other people, in our community. And then you're talking about commercials. We should have them film commercials, and then we should place them in the show. But then, and that's how that happened. And then we came up with the pricing scale and things like that, and how we even vet, companies to see if they even align with us. So that was our own thing. And when people get that, they realize like how serious we are.
Yeah, I mean, you're a media company now, and serendipity is that y'all created another business stream of income from actually doing media for other companies on your platform.
Yes. So
that's probably very profitable for you too.
Yes. So we tried. So because we actually tried that. We tried it twice, or we flirted with the idea of it twice. So the first time where we had ourselves priced, a lot of people who are just starting out, they just didn't have the money to do that.
Right. So
we said, okay, like let's not gyp ourselves, but let's not outprice ourselves either. So it was imperative that we found like a real sweet middle ground. And then what we had to explain to people was the first time people see your ad on the show on live, that's not going to be the time. You're probably not going to get a bunch of customers that day. Like it's probably just not going to happen that way. It's called predictive programming. Like we just kind of have to always play. So then we just said, okay, we're going to do a month long. And then now people see the value in what we do, because as much as we have around 52,000 subscribers, there's channels with 300,000 subscribers, there's channels with 400,000 subscribers, but when they go live, they maybe have 500 people watching at one time. They maybe have 100 people watching at one time. We have had 2,200 people in the live at one time, because we have a very dedicated audience to what we do. Mondays and Thursdays, where's the show? You know what I mean?
Right.
They have systems. I have friends from college I didn't even know watch my show. They didn't even know watch my show. They hit me like, yo, I have a whole system on Mondays and Thursdays. I get my bottle of Henny, I get my chicken and my food, and I sit down with my girl to watch it with you guys. And once I realized how serious it was, like with that, then we started just taking ourselves and taking our show, our whole business model, just way more serious.
We'll be right back with the DJTMC Financial Expert Series after this message. Stay tuned.
Since meeting you, I have had the pleasure of meeting other people among your team who have given me the knowledge to be able to take my business to the next level. So I'm definitely looking forward to a better year from here on out. So thank you very much for placing those people in my path.
Hello, my name is George Paisley, and I just finished my first initial consultation with DJ the Money Coach. And I have to say, it was very enlightening. I enjoyed it. He hit me to some game. In the first 2 minutes, he told me about a way I could save taxes on next year. So even if I didn't work with him, I left away with that knowledge. To anyone else out there thinking about it, at the very least, take the time, have a talk with him, and let him show you how he can help you live that pom-pom lifestyle.
Stop wishing better, start doing better, and move forward with somebody that has not only the knowledge, the skills, the talent, and the team to help you go where you want to go. I'll get more than my money's worth. If I can spend a few grand, several grand on a piece of luggage, I could spend a little bit to get a lot of it in the long run. So if you're thinking about doing better, stop thinking, start doing, and definitely get down with the pom-pom lifestyle.
I think if you allow us, I think we need to do a part 2 because we can't compact this all into one interview. I think you agree, because I realize how much history we have together, and your story has gotten so much better that I don't want to cheat the people, and I also understand from a attention standpoint that our people generally are not going to stay locked in for a 3-hour epic. And I think that's what we're on the way to. So let's do this. In the next 5 to 10, let's summarize this up. And if you agree to do a part 2, which I hope you will do, so we can tell that back end story of today. Talk about how your business has involved your family, because you got a podcast for your brother, The World According to Eli, if I'm not mistaken. And then y'all run off a spoof channel. So talk about those 2 real quickly. Then let's wrap it up, and then we'll do a part 2 if you'd be okay with that.
That'd be great. So Eli's show is actually predates Urban X.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
His podcast actually predates Urban X. So his show started out as The World According to Eli, music, sports, video games, and culture. And that was because my brother has cerebral palsy, but he is brilliant. You know what I mean? He has, he's smart when it comes to sports and when it comes to a lot of things that he just wants to talk about.
Hold on for 1 second. Let me interject here. Your brother has cerebral palsy, and y'all never treated him differently.
Ever.
And that's the one thing that I love about your dad, because my nephew has Down syndrome, like a severe form of Down syndrome. Unfortunately, there's been phases where my sister has treated him like a special child, and then he actually gets worse. And then I would treat him like a regular, young man, and he gets better. So we don't understand the magnitude of that your brother is, he just started walking and stuff, and he's fully functional, very productive, and at the top of his game. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's so important, especially in the Black community, because we always want a crutch. So back to you on that, man. And kudos to your dad, your brother. I even remember you talked about it in your book, how you treated him like a regular guy. And that's special, man. Hats off to you guys. I love that about you guys.
So Eli, when it comes to and like he has his disability, but he's never, like you said, we've never treated him any different, and he's never used it as an excuse. So but when he shines, when he's super interested about something, he shines. So my dad just kind of wanted to display that to the world, and the idea started off as like a cable show. So we tried to figure that out, and this is before, like I said, this is before Urban X. So we tried to figure that out, and then we did a test run, and he wasn't feeling it. So my dad said, let's just do a podcast. He could be behind the camera, or what I mean, it's audio, it's pre-recorded. He doesn't have to be perfect. He can just, just get comfortable. And that's what happened. So we started when he was 16. And now the show has actually evolved to the podcast. It's called Disabled is Abled.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So now his best friend, who also has cerebral palsy, who's a college student, he's on the podcast with them. And my dad is kind of like the mediator between them.
He's a Hispanic guy, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Freddie. So that's still going as well, and that's growing. We have a bunch of different ideas on how to take that, further as well. So we're working on that now. And like I said, my stepmom, she does like all the graphic and designs of what you see.
Then your brother Marcus come join y'all as well, if I'm not mistaken?
So Marcus, he'll be joining us on our membership channel.
Oh, okay, on the membership channel. Okay.
Yes, we have a show coming out on the membership channel. Marcus is going to be joining us with that, but he's, he does his own thing when it comes to the real estate side. So we don't want to, again, stretch anybody too thin.
Sure.
Because we know how that feels. So he'll be joining us on the membership channel. My sister Odyssey now, she's home from college. So we brought her on to handle all of our social media. She handles all of it. So if you are writing us on social media, that is Odyssey responding, that is Odyssey posting. She is doing that. And she's been doing an amazing job. Like our social media presence has increased so much since she's gotten on. Like it's incredible. And and me and my dad, this is us four. And we are Marcus, Odyssey, Malcolm, Eli, the MOME in Mome Media.
Okay. I was wondering what Momita, that is awesome.
So that's us. And then my dad is, my dad is the general, and my stepmom is right there, and she handles all of the graphics behind the scenes. When we're doing a show and things pop up and the camera switches, that is all her. So she did my book cover. She formatted my book for me and things like that. So it is all hands on deck when it comes to my family and our business.
Man, y'all are blessed because your dad had the vision before y'all were here.
Yes.
And he said, hey, I'm going to build a business where we have a family business. And this same thing that I always dreamt of when I was a little kid. I was like, man, I was 10, 11 years of age, Malcolm. I was like, man, I want to be in business with my family. I don't believe that BS that we can't be in business, but I look up and I see the white people doing it. Right. I see the Chinese doing it. I see the Latino people doing it. I see the Jews doing it. I'm like, ain't no reason why we can't do it. It's because we already accept that notion that we can't work together and we can't do business together, but we can do consumerism with everybody else, and they pop up something and we make them billionaires. Right. So with that said, man, when did you feel that, what, this is going to be here when I'm gone, and my son and my son's sons are going to benefit from this just like your dad did? When did you have that epiphany, man?
When did that happen? It came about once I got into the idea of past making YouTube videos. Once I realized we actually had value to give to people, because people they just started to reach out to me. Like I had friends that started to reach out to me, people who watched the show and asked me how do you build a blog? And I would walk them through the entire thing. And they would have their online store up and running, their blog and online store up and running. And my dad would just say, yo, you could have charged somebody an arm and a leg for you to walk through that, for you to give that time up just now. And I was just like, it's true. And then somebody would ask my dad about something, and the same thing. And my stepmother, she helps other businesses get off the ground sometimes. Like if they need labels, and if they need flyers and things like that, she helps them. So once we started to just see ourselves more than a podcast, and I think it goes back to the blue ocean strategy when it comes to finding our own market, right? A lot of the other podcasts, they're big because they have a famous person attached to them, right? Yep. Or they're big because they talk about something salacious, right? Yep.
Or they're doing buffoonery.
Right? We are a father and son podcast. And once we started to double down on that fact, and this is what we do, we have our own merch that we make ourselves. we're authors. We're both onthers. Me and my dad are authors. Yes.
What you talking about? Good to Great, the hedgehog concept. You
yes,
guys.
Once we started to just differentiate ourselves, and again, not worry about the numbers either, because I said it might be slow. That destination might be slower getting there the right way, but we decided we want to go the right way. You know what I mean? And I think that's when we just started to realize like we can do more than just podcasts. Like we're not going to be podcasting forever. You know what I mean? Who knows? You know what I mean? It's one of those things. Who knows? But this business will go on.
Momi Media.
Yes, Momi Media. This business, media is more than just podcasting. Media is more than just YouTube. You know what I mean? So once we got to that fact, it was like an epiphany.
It was Katie bar the door. Yeah. Watch out, baby.
Yes.
We about to blow the hinges off these doors. Yes. So wrapping up this part, man. I'm excited. So you guys launched your subscription. You had your son. Your business is now taking point. Would it be fair to say that your business is a strong 6-figure revenue organization right now from the day it started?
Yeah. And which is amazing to say out loud, but yeah.
So
like, an idea that just kind of came across of me and my pops just kicking it and filming it, and we found different avenues to get paid and to kind of support ourselves. And it's been amazing. And I even think like I catch myself thinking like really small sometimes. So we've gotten in the habit of really just thinking big and where we can actually take this thing.
That's funny. Remember, I don't know if you remember this. I say, Malcolm, don't be fearful of massive success. I say that's one of the biggest problems in our community. We are really fearful of real success.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing.
And that blocks you mentally, so it doesn't able to manifest itself in the real world. Until you take that top off your hat, you can't reach the stars, man.
Right.
At the end of the day. And you guys are on the way to that pathway, which is amazing in of itself. So with that said, how do we continue to practice cooperative economics? How do strong alpha Black men like yourself, myself, your father, we're gonna have our challenges, but how do we continue to practice cooperative economics? Because here's the disconnect on social media. I'm just keeping it a buck. Negroes don't like working with other Negroes, and I'm calling them Negroes because that's the negative, but businessmen who work together in their community, even if they have disagreements, if their ethics, their morals, their principles are the same, they figure out a way how to galvanize and go forward. And I'll give you this example, is that the white man can hate each other, but when it comes to saving the white race, they put all that BS aside and they get on the same page to win that W. So
yeah,
you're in that lane and we're in that lane, and we work together, and we have our ups and downs, but we principally have the same principles, same values, same ethics. How do we practice cooperative economics so we can level the playing field for everybody that looks like us? And here's one reason why I asked you that, because there's nothing on this planet culturally based that we don't make billionaires of, but we become thousandaires, if that.
Yeah.
How do we continue to do that from your perspective for us to be able to do that on this time and place in this world?
Doing things like this. You've been on my channel a bunch of times, and I'm glad that we finally were able to hook up with this. Like, something will always don't happen. I have a kid now, like you said, so things just they don't work out sometimes. But I'm glad that I'm here, and to continue cooperative economics. I think it's just a matter of working with people who align with you and not worrying about the people who are not trying to work with you. You know what I mean? That's one thing. That's one of our superpowers. Like, if somebody doesn't want to work with us, we don't harp on it too long. You know what I mean? We just kind of just move on and show the value of what we do by just showing the value of what we do. And I think that's one of the things for people who seem to be having a hard time with somebody else in their industry or in another industry they're trying to, cooperate with, and it's not happening. I think, just continue to just put your head down and you go and then continue to make your product better, your show better, whatever you do, just better. So it'd be a no-brainer to not work with you. You know what I mean? and to just be, open, coachable. You're not going to know as much as anybody. Somebody's not going to know as much as you. I've been interviewing a lot of people who are all stages of their entrepreneurial journeys, and sometimes they don't even have a really working website, but I'm able to give that information. Or if I'm interviewing somebody else who knows way more than me, I'm asking them all the pertinent questions. You know what I mean? So I think it's a matter of, like I said, working with somebody who you feel like is on the same page as you, not worrying about the people who don't want to work with you, and just being open and coachable. Those are the things I would say, like how we keep going.
Man, that's awesome. So what we do when we wrap down this thing, we actually let Nick chime in, and we should have let Nick chime in a long time ago, because I remember, here's the PowerPoint. Remember when you got that testimonial from Nick?
Yes.
About the experience, and I was like, wow, I was just blown away. This long, almost, I don't know, 1 or 2 pages, and you shared it with me. I was like, dude, did somebody pay him to write this, or is this a real person or not? So Nick, man, chime in so we can wrap this up, because Malcolm's a busy guy. He's got a young family, and we've been blessed for him to come on the platform, and we definitely got to follow up with a part 2 to close this out and this continued relationship. So Nick, what you got to say, and give us where you came from, and like you said, without him, is no you, is no us on this platform.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'll give a little a little brief recap, a backstory of how I got tuned in, because it actually started with your pops, Malcolm. That's how I came across Urban X, and I'm sure that's how a lot of people came across Urban X. I would say around post 2013, that's when I started going down that YouTube rabbit hole. Like, it started with Professor Griff, and then I came across this guy called the Black Dot, and I started watching all his videos. And like you said, he had a YouTube presence, but I'll say he didn't have a whole lot of videos on YouTube. I know he has a lot of stuff that he did that's not on YouTube.
Yep.
So he didn't have a whole lot of stuff on YouTube. So when I saw him reappear on YouTube, I was like, oh, whoa, this is the guy I was watching a couple years ago. I actually met him when his second book came out in Newark. He was at the Source of Knowledge bookstore, and I got both of his books back in 2016, I think. And I heard you guys joke a couple times about how some of those appearances, it'd only be like a couple of people in the audience. It was actually that experience. I swear it was only about like 5 people there. But I know that it wasn't a good thing in terms of getting the information out and getting the book sales, but it was nice because we were able to have that intimate interaction there.
Right.
So so from there, when he reappeared on YouTube, I was like, wait a minute, I haven't seen Black Dot on on YouTube in a while. And then it was one of your sit downs, one of the early sit downs. So I just been locked in ever since 2017. I was probably one of the first people that started dropping those Urban Xcellence stories in the Facebook group too. And so
I think you were.
I remember you guys sent me the T-shirt for that. Good looking for sending that shirt. And back when you released the book, I pre-ordered the book and came out to the book signing too.
Yes. Thank you.
So next time you guys have your meet and greet, I gotta get this sign from you.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do one this summer.
Yeah. So
I actually got the book. My son has it.
Yeah, but just to say, just one more thing about the actual podcast. What I really appreciate about the podcast, not only that it's family oriented and that it's father, son, but just the perspective. Because you guys do touch on topics that a lot of other platforms are talking about, but you guys bring that deeper perspective to those topics that no one else is talking about. And you're mixing that with the humor. And like I said, that family element to it. So, that's what I love about it. And, like I said earlier, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have met DJ the Money Coach and became his business manager. You know, so like I said, I came into one of those first webinars. I was blown away by all the information that he was dropping in there. And I wrote that that testimonial, and we've been rocking ever since. You know, we got started with DJ the Money Coach business, the online part of it, a little over a year ago. And we came a long way from those from those webinars that you guys were doing, and my sound kept going out and everything was lagging.
We actually had to redo the first one, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah. So we came a long way. We've been experiencing a lot of growth, man. So yeah, it's been great. So I usually do a summary, but I decided to give my quick little backstory and experience, just being in tune with you guys.
Right. I think it was the most amazing thing. We've never met physically, but we become brothers, three of us, conjointly. And that's the way it should be, man, at the end of the day. And we need to see more of that. And difference of opinion is going to happen, but principles, morals, and ethics never change. Those are always of leadership and shepherd, and what we have an acronym we created, Malcolm. It's called HIM. Humility, integrity, man, real man. And that's what you are. That's what your dad is. And that's what we want to continue to display on all our platforms, so that we can show our community that this is the norm of excellence. It goes back to Urban Xcellence. So share with us, man, 30 seconds. Tell us how we can get in touch with you. Tell us what the next upcoming thing you're doing. And so we can continue to be down with cooperative economics with the Urban Xcellence platform. Because if you guys don't realize that we are 100%, all in, then you just didn't get it.
So you can reach us on Instagram and Twitter at Urban X _NYC. We have the Urban X Facebook group, just Urban X, or the Urban Xcellence Facebook group. It's a different group, and that's just for amazing news you want to share. It could be you or somebody else, stories you want to share. That's all that group is for. And then you can add us and subscribe us on the Urban X TV YouTube channel. Follow us on the podcast. We do a live stream show every Monday and Thursday, 9:30. Trying to get that to 9 o'clock, but 9:30. You can visit urbanx.nyc to see to the website to join the membership. The membership is $5 for right now, $5 a month, or $50 for the entire year. For a limited time. And then we have our shop. You can just visit the shop as well. And we're going to start, putting up more blog posts again, because we kind of got away from that. And if you have any questions, you can email us at info@urbanx.nyc, or if you want to advertise with us, you can email us at sales@urbanx.nyc. And that's it.
Man, that is all. Hey, let me ask you this. What are 3 quick points you can share with upcoming aspiring entrepreneurs like yourself? And what are 3 things you're excited about for your son's future?
So 3 quick things I would say: discipline, being able to learn. I'm actually in September, I'm going to my first business conference. You know what I mean? I'm super excited about that, because I'm super excited to just learn more. And I read all the time. And I'm just, always trying to feed my mind somehow. So discipline, the willingness to learn. And I would just say just perseverance as well. Things are not going to always work out the way you do, the way you think. Usually if something can go wrong, it will go wrong, and you have to be able to navigate those waters. But when it comes to my son, I'm just hoping to instill those qualities with them, not even just for entrepreneurship, but just for life itself. I think discipline is one of my main superpowers. I can be, and sometimes it can be an enemy. If at my best, I'm like 1 to 10, I'm an 8. But at my worst, I'm like a 2. You know what I'm saying? So it just, and nobody's perfect. Nobody's gonna be super disciplined all the time. But I think it's the way you bounce back is what really separates you in any industry, and just deferred gratification as well.
Oh man,
I think that is what separates you.
Man, that's awesome. So again, give us your contact information, and then we're going to thank you for your time, my friend. And I almost seem like a Baptist preacher that I say we closing. This time we're closing.
Yeah, so like I said, just subscribe to the Urban X TV YouTube channel, Urban X _NYC on Twitter and Instagram. UrbanX.NYC is the website, and you can email us there from there as well. info@urbanx.nyc.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So, hey, man, we end our shows the same way all the time. You've been watching the Financial Expert Series with DJ, the Money Coach. And on behalf of our, co-host, Nick Westbrooks, who came from Urban X, who became a client and now became our business manager. And today, our most coveted interview on this platform is, with Malcom X Bowser, who is the co-founder Urban X, which is par excellence in our community. If you guys don't see that, be about that Urban Excellence, because it's about the real deal. And what we really want you to enjoy is that we want you to be 100% the unique you and not a second-rate copy of somebody else. And the only way to do that is to achieve the pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. And we want you to come join us on the Beaches of the World Club. I'm DJ, the Money Coach, and we thank you. And we look forward to seeing part 2, because we haven't finished the rest of the story and we don't have enough time to do it in one segment. So we appreciate you guys. Stay safe. And if you haven't heard it, go to the Urban X platform and get that knowledge about an awesome community built by the #1 father and son media company on the platform. I'm DJ, the Money Coach. We'll see you next time. Hi, I'm DJ, the Money Coach. Don't touch that dial. You want to become financially independent? You want to have consumer debt freedom? You want to have passive income, learn how to build a business, acquire real estate, and achieve the lifestyle you deserve in 2021? Well, hit that link below right now. We've worked with over 20,000 people in the past 2 decades, helping them become consumer debt free, increase their credit scores by 30 to 60 points in 30 days or less, and help them acquire businesses through real estate, taxes, and a network of experts just like me. So you'll get a complete 3-hour, 18-module course called Family Finance 101 that'll teach you A to Z how to become consumer debt free, credit worthy, and put you in position to become a certified entrepreneur. We'll also give you a complimentary consultation with me that's a $500 value. Why would you want to do that? Because I have already achieved that, and I can help you achieve your American dream in 2021. Hit the link below, get the free webinar and the complimentary consultation, and I'll see you soon and wish you a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. Come join us.
Toledo Organic Tequila is so crisp, so incredibly smooth, it's simply in a category by itself. This is luxury. Life tastes better naturally, so should your tequila. This is Toledo. Enjoy responsibly. Visit ToledoTequila.com to get your bottle of Toledo Organic Tequila. Get a 10% discount on DJ the Money Coach by entering promo code MONEY at checkout. Again, that's ToledoTequila.com, promo code MONEY to get 10% off your Toledo purchase.